The trailer opens like a slow breath before a storm, and for one bright second, we see Marian in a wedding veil, while Larry turns toward her, as if the whole city is watching them. Asterisk, we start with a soft glow over Fifth Avenue as the carriages line. The curb and the world tilts toward a grand day. A church door swings open. Sunlight pours across polished floors. Marian steps in with a calm face and a spine of steel. Her dress is satin that catches the light like water. The camera holds on. The veil as it floats over her shoulders. We hear a single bell in the distance, and it feels like the city is holding its breath. Larry stands near the front, not yet smiling, not yet sure. He looks older than last season, not by years but by choices. It is a look that says he knows love is not only warm rooms and soft words. Love is also deals, rooms full of rivals, and the courage to walk through them. The trailer gives us quick flashes that speak louder than words. A close shot of Marian's hand clutching a small bouquet. White roses with one pale pink bloom. A hint that not everything will follow the rules of taste and tradition. A cut to Larry's cufflink as he fastens it with quiet care. The metal shines like a promise. Then a glimpse of guests turning in their pews. Feathers tremble on hats. Fans twitch at the edge of gloved fingers. The old families sit tall like statues. New money sparkles like crystal in sunlight. Between them runs an invisible line that the couple must cross to stand together. We see Agnes lift her chin and close her fan with that firm click we know well. Her eyes move, not her head, and the message is clear. She will defend her house and her niece, but only on her terms. Across the aisle, Bertha's smile is bright, too bright, like a diamond that almost hurts to look at. She is pleased to be seen. She is more pleased to be needed. If this wedding goes forward, her place at the center of society hardens like cement. If it falters, she will be the first to own the story and bend it to her will. Music swells as Marian takes a step. The hem of her gown kisses the stone. A pair of late guests slip in with the hush of silk and scandal. We catch the shadow of a reporter outside, notebook ready, and the sound of a whisper that could be a rumor or a warning. The camera cuts to Larry's mother for a heartbeat. Pride softens her mouth. Worry tightens it again. This union joins more than two hearts. It binds fortunes, families, and the map of who may sit where at every table from Newport to New York. The teaser gives us a last image before the title card. Marian looks up and meets Larry's eyes. In that look, we read the entire season. Will they fight as a team or be pulled apart by the city's hunger for power? Will the vows protect them or trap them? The bell tolls again and the screen turns to black. In that silence, the question rings louder than any music. Can love win when every seat in the church has a price tag attached to it? Asterisk, the trailer does not linger only on romance. Just when the wedding glow feels steady, the camera shifts. Two darker tones. We see the ornate chandeliers flicker as if even the light hesitates. A servant hurries across a hallway, carrying a sealed letter tucked too tightly in his hand. The paper looks ordinary, but the music warns us otherwise. This letter will change something, maybe everything. The scene cuts before we read a single word, leaving us with a knot of questions. Next, the focus sharpens on the guests. Their smiles are not equal. Behind the pearls and pressed collars hide calculations. Old money peers across the aisle with eyes cold as marble. For them, Marian marrying Larry is not just a union of love, it is a challenge to centuries of control. A close-up shows Mrs. Astor lifting her eyebrow. Her glance is brief, yet heavy, as if weighing the marriage like gold on a scale. To her, this match is either a mistake or an opportunity, and she will decide which way the story is told in every parlor in the city. The trailer then cuts to Bertha Russell. Her gown rich in color, her expression more complicated than a simple smile. Her lips curve, but her eyes gleam sharp as blades. She knows this wedding may pull her higher into the center of society, or it may expose her family to envy and attack. The crowd whispers around her, and for the first time, Bertha does not quiet them. She listens, she measures, she stores each word like a coin she can spend later, but not every shadow belongs to the powerful. The camera turns to Marian's cousin Oscar, standing in the corner with a glass untouched in his hand. His look is almost unreadable, but there is something in its jealousy, worry, or both. The trailer lets the silence around him grow until it feels like a secret pressing at the edge of the screen. Then, in one swift cut, we see Oscar walking into a dim corridor with another man who vanishes before we can see his face. That moment holds the taste of scandal, and the audience is left to wonder if it will strike before the wedding vows are finished. Music rises again. Deeper now, with the hint of drums. We see two images side by side. Marian taking her veil into her hands. Larry staring into a mirror as if asking himself one last time if this is the right step. Both shots are heavy with the same question. Can they stand together when the world around them seems eager to watch them fall apart? The trailer leaves the answer hidden in silence, but the cracks beneath the celebration have already begun to show. Asterisk, the trailer sharpens its claws when it moves away from wedding bells and into the hidden war beneath New York's polished surface. We see a flash of a long dining table lit by candelabras, the flames swaying as if stirred by a secret wind. At one end sits George Russell, posture steady, eyes calculating. He does not speak in this moment, but his silence is louder than words. Across the table, another man shifts uneasily, his face tight with fear of losing not just money, but relevance. This is not a dinner. Is a duel disguised as etiquette. Another glimpse, we see Bertha step out of her carriage, feathers rising from her hair, jewels flashing with each turn of her head. Yet her expression is not triumph, it is hunger. She scans the crowd outside the Academy of Music, where whispers twist like smoke. The trailer shows her hand tighten on her fan, a small gesture that tells us she will not surrender ground. She has fought too long to rise above the sneers of old families, and Marian's marriage may be her strongest weapon yet. The implication is clear. Bertha does not just want to see the wedding succeed. She wants to wield it as a crown placed on her head. Then the tone shifts. A brief shot shows the Astors in their drawing room, their faces set like stone. A fire burns behind them, crackling too loud in the silence. Mrs. Astor turns toward the camera with a look that carries the weight of generations. Her message is silent but fierce. She will not allow new money to write the rules of society without a fight. The wedding is no longer just Marian and Larry's, it is a battlefield where tradition and ambition collide. The trailer gives us rapid images, each sharper than the last. A stack of newspapers rolling off a press, ink smearing headlines that hint at scandal. A theater curtain falling as applause turns to murmurs. A servant's hand slipping a note into the pocket of a coat. A shadow crossing the steps of a mansion. At night, none of these shots are explained, but together they build a sense of conspiracy moving quietly beneath the surface. Ready to erupt when the vows are spoken, we return to Marian for a heartbeat. She stands before a mirror, veil lifted, eyes steady. In the reflection behind her, someone lingers out of focus. The camera does not show us who it is. Instead, the image fades into black. The suggestion is sharp enough. Every choice Marian makes will ripple outward. And not everyone watching her is cheering for her happiness. Asterisk, the trailer does more than tease events. It layers meaning into the smallest of details, as if every ribbon and every gesture carries a hidden code. When Marian walks down the aisle, the camera lingers not on her face, but on the floor beneath her. The stone tiles form a black and white pattern, stark and cold, suggesting the choices before her are never shaded in gray. Each step is heavy with that message. She is not just marrying for love. She is stepping into a game of strategy where every move is watched. We also see Larry in a striking image, standing outside beneath scaffolding as builders raise a new structure. The wooden beams tower above him, reaching skyward like ambition itself. His expression is proud yet restless. This is more than construction. It is a symbol of his future, of progress built with his own hands. By placing this scene beside Marian's bridal steps, the trailer ties together love and creation, hinting that their marriage may become the foundation for something larger than themselves. New legacy that rewrites the map of New York's power fashion too speaks louder than words. Bertha appears in a gown that gleams in gold, brighter than the lamps that surround her. Gold is not simply wealth, it is a declaration, a challenge, a warning. She wears it like armor. In contrast, Mrs. Astor is shown in deep navy silk, somber and unshaken, as if the weight of her family's history shields her. Their clothing is not just decoration, it is war paint, each color a banner in the quiet battle for dominance. The trailer also teases the role of religion. We see a quick shot of a priest raising his hand, his face pale in candlelight. Behind him, shadows stretch high on the church walls, long and ominous. The moment is short but unsettling, reminding us that in this era, the church was not only a place of faith, but also of politics, a stage where marriages could either sanctify love or seal power plays. The ringing bells may sound holy, but in this trailer, they echo with tension, as if faith itself has been enlisted into the game finally. One of the most telling symbols appears in silence. Marian holds a single rose, the petals fresh and soft. But as the camera shifts, we see another rose left behind on a windowsill, wilted and dry. The message is subtle yet sharp. New love blooms, but old love or old loyalties have withered. Which path Marian follows may decide whether her life blossoms or fades in the cold air of society's judgment. Asterisk, the trailer leaves space for imagination, almost daring us to guess at what is hidden between the frames. The clearest tease is Marian and Larry at the altar, yet the cut comes before a vow is spoken. That pause feels intentional. It raises the question, will the ceremony finish, or is it a grand illusion meant to stir our hope before tearing it away? Many fans have already begun to wonder if the marriage will be stopped by a sudden scandal, a whispered rumor, or even a betrayal from someone close. In the Gilded Age, nothing is promised, not even a wedding once the bells begin to ring another. Theory grows from the glimpse of that sealed letter in the hands of a rushing servant. Could it contain news that halts the wedding? Perhaps a financial downfall or a family secret long buried. The letter is shown only for a moment, but that moment feels heavy enough to carry an entire season of conflict. Some believe it may expose debts, others think it could reveal a forbidden relationship, and a few even suggest it connects to Oscar's shadowy corridor meeting. Whatever the truth, the letter is more than paper, is a blade hidden in plain sight we also cannot ignore. The way Bertha's smile lingers too long in her scenes. She has always been a master at turning society's rules to her advantage. If Marian and Larry marry, Bertha gains ground against Mrs. Astor. But what if Bertha herself engineers the drama? A carefully timed scandal could destroy rivals while allowing her to step forward as the only one strong enough to control the chaos. The possibility that she is not just a supporter but a secret puppeteer makes her presence in the trailer feel dangerous, almost magnetic. Another whisper comes from the quick image of Larry standing beneath the unfinished building. The theory here is that his work will be tested, maybe even destroyed, before it can prove his worth. The wedding may tie his name to Marian, but progress is fragile in a world where old money sees every rising tower as a personal insult. Fans suggest sabotage could strike not only to ruin him but to humiliate his marriage at the same time. The destruction of stone and steel would mirror the breaking of vows, making the season both romantic tragedy and architectural war. And finally, there's the rose fresh in Marian's hand, wilted on the sill. This contrast invites the boldest theory of all, that Marian must choose between two paths, one full of bloom and one already fading. Perhaps the fresh rose stands for her union with Larry, alive with promise. The wilted flower could represent an old attachment, or the sacrifices she must abandon to embrace her future. The trailer does not answer which path she will take, but it suggests the season will test her heart as much as her place in society. In the end, every whisper circles back to the same question: will Marian and Larry's love survive the weight of a city built on ambition and secrets? Asterisk, the trailer closes with a rhythm that feels less like music and more like a heartbeat. Each beat shows us a flicker of what the season may hold: dances lit by chandeliers, arguments whispered in corners, doors slamming in houses where silence is more dangerous than noise. These fragments do not form a full story, but together, they strike like sparks against stone. The message is clear: Season 4 will not glide forward smoothly. It will burn, it will glitter, and it will test every character who dares to step into the light. One of the final images shows a ballroom floor, shined to glass. Couples spin in circles, but the camera rises above them until the dancers look less like lovers and more like pieces on a board. This is the core of the Gilded Age. Every smile hides a move. Every bow hides a bargain. Marian and Larry's possible wedding is only the first square in a much larger game. The question is not only whether they marry, but whether they can keep their footing once the dance of power pulls them into its endless turns. We then see George Russell's steel gaze. His silence speaks of storms still waiting to break. Bertha's defiant tilt of the chin tells us she is ready to fight with the elegance of a queen and the ruthlessness of a general. Agnes, with her calm but cutting glances, reminds us that, even within Marian's family, approval is fragile and fleeting. Each of these figures seems to stand with or against the couple, but the truth is more tangled. Allies can shift into enemies in a single evening, and enemies can suddenly find their interests aligned when survival demands. What makes this trailer unique is the way it blends love and war into the same frame. The lace on Marian's gown is as much a weapon as Bertha's jewels. The unfinished skyscraper behind Larry is as much a battlefield as the church aisle. The Gilded Age has always been a story of contrast, romance and rivalry, beauty and cruelty, tradition and progression. Season 4 seems ready to sharpen each contrast until sparks fly from the frictionaise. The trailer fades to black. We hear a final sound, not music, not bells, but applause. It is distant, echoing, almost hollow, as if reminding us that in this world, approval is fleeting, and every triumph is measured by how loudly others clap. For Marian and Larry, marriage may feel like the end of a struggle, but the trailer whispers that it is only the beginning of something larger, louder, and far more dangerous. Asterisk, the last stretch of the trailer feels like a hand closing around the audience, firm and unrelenting. We see Marian's face once more, her veil lowered, her expression neither joy nor fear, but something in between. Her lips part as if she is about to speak, yet the screen cuts to black before a single word escapes. That silence is louder than any dialogue. It tells us that the season's true heart will not rest in one simple answer, but in the tension of questions that hang above every scene. A sudden flash shows Larry turning sharply, his footsteps echoing across marble. Is he walking toward Marian or away from her? The cut is too quick to decide, and perhaps that is the point. The trailer is not a promise, it is a puzzle. Each glimpse leaves behind the sense that what we are seeing is only half the truth. Carefully sliced to stir both hope and dread. It is the art of the tease, and the Gilded Age wields it with elegance. The final images are not of lovers, but of the city itself. Smoke rising from chimneys, carriages battling for space on crowded streets. A tower rising higher than the rest, its steel bones cutting the sky. The city is the real character, alive, breathing, and hungry. Marian and Larry may hope to carve their love into its stone, but the city has never been gentle. It swallows fortunes as quickly as it creates them. And it whispers to every character the same warning: nothing here is safe, not even marriage then. Comes the trailer's closing sound, a single bell tolling, slow and deep, followed by silence. No music follows, no voice offers comfort. The bell is left hanging in the air, echoing like a verdict. It could mean a wedding complete. It could mean a funeral of expectations. Either way, it tells us one truth: the season will not shy away from heartbreak, from betrayal, or from the kind of victories that taste almost bitter when finally won. The question remains, when season 4 arrives, will Marian and Larry walk down the aisle as victors in love? Or will the city's endless hunger break them apart before vows are spoken? The trailer leaves us with no answers, only anticipation. And in that tension, the audience is caught waiting, speculating. And already desperate for the moment the first episode begins.